Hey everybody, welcome back to Day 2 Breakfast with Bob from the Challenge Championship. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are brought to you by Master Spa's HOKA Fly Human Fly, deboer wetsuits, the Outrigger Kona Resort and Spa, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest was third last year here at the Challenge Championships, Mr. Kristian Hogenhaug from Denmark. How are you doing, Kristian?
Thank you. Just got back from a recon ride. Yeah.
Flat, fast, windy.
Windy and a little bit more chilly than last
year.
Chilly,
yes. Yeah, it's colder, right?
Yeah.
And that water will be a little chilly.
Yeah.
Did you get in?
No, and I'm not going to do it before the race.
Because you know how it is.
Yeah. So it's
You're from Denmark. Everything's cold.
Everything's cold and the sun never shines. But I think it's good. I'm packing a little extra kilos at this time of the year, so that might be an advantage for once.
A little more insulation for the cold.
I guess so. Yeah. You can push pretty hard all day and not overheat or anything.
Well, it's interesting because you can't with the amount of racing now starting in March and going into December, you can't be peaking all year long. You've got to say, okay, I'm going to start the season, I'm going to race, but my expectations are going to be a little different. But my goals are middle of the season, end of the season, right? You can't be healthy. You can't be fit all year long.
No, definitely not. My season last year ended in the middle of December.
Yeah.
So I also had a quite late off season. I never tried it that late actually.
Yeah.
And as you said, there were some learnings on how to, because I was kind of burned out last year after Kona. So the last part of the season was more to get some good experience with the family and girlfriend. And so this year we have approached it. Last year we approached it a little different, and then this time we're going in the same direction, but like maybe taking it even more easy at this part of the season. So
right. So you have more left at the end.
Hopefully.
Yes.
That's the plan. So I've also trained less this year so far than the last couple of years, but still improved, so I guess that's pretty nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and I look at just you kicked off the season at Ironman Texas and had a great swim and 48-minute swim and a 3:58. Used to be you go sub 4 hours. That's like unbelievable. 3:58.28 and then 3:15. But you had some mechanical issues there.
It was first race on my new bike, and
it's fast. It's a fast bike.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to get a reminder that you have to tighten all your bolts and stuff like that. And I lost my nutrition on the back, where the plan was I needed to drink quite a lot.
Right.
But I lost the 2 bottles behind. I think I could still have managed it without, but then I hadn't tightened my cockpit properly, so the last 60k, it was so wobbly that I kind of had to hold it with one hand, so it wouldn't fall off. And
you still went 3:58.
Yeah, and also lost the chain during that part of. So I lost the front group, which annoyed me so much. And I think normally I'm quite composed, but when I got into T2, I was so mad that I just ran way too fast and blew up. And
it's one of those days.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you had your top 10 at Ironman World Championship in Kona, 48 swim, 4:03, 2:57, solid day. Frankfurt, you get 4th, right? So the middle of the season in October, you're really going well, and then 70.3 Worlds in New Zealand, 17th. So you're not quite where you want to be at that point.
Yeah, I was also done mentally. So it was.
Well, that's focusing on those are pretty major events, and then also Victoria, you're 5th there. So and 3rd at the Challenge Championship and 5th at Mallorca, and it's a long ass season.
Yeah,
and
it is.
With a lot of great results.
Yeah. And as you said, many of them were 4th and 5th, so it could be nice to
you want to be podium, of course you do.
Yeah, but I think I showed that I can be quite stable throughout the whole season.
Yes,
maybe not into December, but
right.
I think Kona was also like the main goal. So
Right.
and New Zealand was just as much as. Yeah, you were there as well. It's quite an amazing country.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So
But the race that really the Frankfurt race was really impressive. You know, when you're going sub 48 for the swim and 3:57 for the bike, and then following it up with a 2:45 and going 7:35. That's an impressive race. And what's even more impressive is you got fourth. Those are winning times.
Yeah.
The competition is
crazy.
crazy, right?
Yeah. And I was solo the whole day on the bike, and but that's what makes it so hard sometimes. That when you're alone and riding against the whole group, it can be quite difficult. So that's also why I hope here, even though it's 20 meter here, that maybe me and Fredrik Funk or some other guys could maybe go off the front together.
Right.
So you don't have to sit there like out there alone.
So who do you see as being up there?
Apologies if I I forget someone, but like the name that pops in my mind is Fredrik, also because I think he's raced this race 7 times, so he knows how to race it.
Yeah.
And it can be it's how you like play your cards on a course like this. If you move a little too, it can be an advantage to move early, because then you can start build up the gap. But at the start of the bike is also where everyone is really fresh, so you can make some huge surges and not get away. Whereas if you wait a little bit, it's easier to get away with like fewer watts, but you also still have to have something left in the tank to do that. So you can't move too early if you
Yeah, and you got into this whole sport pretty late, right? You were you were World of Warcraft. You were you're a video game guy, and you're just basically, it was like, I better go outside and get a little workout in. Next thing you know, you're a professional triathlete.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
you look back on that sometime and go, this has been a pretty crazy journey. I'm video guy, and then next thing you know, I'm a professional triathlete.
Yeah, sometimes I also wish I've just started with triathlon instead of video gaming.
I don't know, a lot of money in video gaming.
Not the time when I played it, but that's the thing. I'm 33, so I'm definitely like getting older, as everyone else is, of course. But you know what I mean.
Yes.
Like, but I feel young in the sport in a way,
because you started later.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you see people stagnating when they kind of or plateau in their level when they get older, I think sometimes it's, of course, maybe there's some physiology into it, of course, but I think it's also like your priorities in life might change a little bit, or just the love for the sport or the desire, it changes maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I got it into so late that maybe I have a lot of that compared to other guys at my age. I think because I agree. Yeah, still improving every year, and I also said to myself that I will stop triathlon the day I don't feel I can improve anymore, because that's what I find exciting. Yeah.
Well, and you are improving. Your times are getting faster and faster.
So is everyone else. That's the thing. Like, I think especially after Corona or the pandemic, the level in triathlon has risen quite a lot. So your own development curve has to be like even steeper. So that's tough.
Well, and I think what COVID did is people couldn't race, so you just piled on workouts, people were able to go, at least ride and run indoors. They can do whatever they want, and all of a sudden you're not having to recover from racing, and you're just putting in, a solid 2 years of training.
True.
And then as soon as COVID was over, it was like, what's going on? Plated shoes, but it's like everybody's going so much faster.
Yeah, true. And everyone started doing a podcast and knowledge sharing. And
knowledge sharing is huge.
So there's a lot of, like, now you know how everyone trains, I guess, back in the day it was much
Secret.
more mythical or something like that. Maybe you heard some rumors
Yes.
at the pool or something like how Mark Allen trained, and then you like maybe copied it or something like that. I don't know.
Well, but that's actually what was happening is I remember Peter Reed, who was a 3-time Ironman World Champion, calling me and telling me that he was doing this double secret training and nobody knew he was, he was up at Whistler up in Canada doing this training camp. And he said, nobody knows I'm here. And it's like, Peter, I don't think anybody cares to be on one, but that was the whole thing. You didn't share what you did in workouts, where now guys are, hey, I don't care if you know that I did this last week. Go try and do it, and don't. If you can handle it, go for it. Because everybody's different. Yeah. Everybody's body handles load and speed in a different way.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So it's like that sharing is actually good because everybody gets better.
Yeah, totally. And you see it in a lot of other different sports as well. I
yes.
think, yeah.
How has it made the plated shoes? How have they impacted in terms from the recovery side of it? Obviously, racing they're faster, but do you use them in training as well, or do you find them in recovery? Where do you find them? They help.
I use them in like high intensity run workouts.
Okay.
Also, for the speed, and also that I feel like muscularly it impacts like less. So maybe I can get in like the total volume is bigger and then be just as fatigued.
Right.
Or I can get out of the session more fresh. Mm-hmm. And I also feel maybe it's not because of the carbon plated shoes, or maybe just shoes overall that has gotten better, but I was much more run injured like maybe 6 years ago than now. And I also feel like a lot of other guys, I don't feel like we see so many run injuries as we have in the past. Now it's more like stress fractures.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
Patrick Lange talked about the recovery angle of it. That it's just the plated shoes. You recover quicker from races, and so you get back to training. You get back to training quicker.
Yeah. Especially Ironman. It's that there's a crazy difference for sure.
Do you see yourself doing the same number of? Because you this last year you did Kona, you did Frankfurt, you did Victoria. So you're like 3. Is that pretty much where you're at? You want to do like 3 of those a year or 2 or?
I think 3 is definitely a good sweet spot, I think.
Yeah.
I have had some years where I've done 5 and still managed to do okay.
Okay.
But I think at the level the sport is, that's it. Then this year I'll probably do 4.
Okay.
I just did Texas, but I ended up walking, so I don't know if it really counts. So I have
it counts. Come on.
3 left, and I think what you can do sometimes, you can like pile them together. For example, too close to each other.
So you don't really, you sort of leave the bike in the bag and you just sort of go to the next race. You don't, you don't really recover and do a build. You just recover and go.
Yeah, because if there's
2 weeks apart or something, or 3 weeks apart.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks I would say is good. Yeah. Because then you can kind of maintain the shape in between.
Yes, and just let your body heal a little bit.
If it's like 1.5 months, you can recover, but you can don't really make any
gains.
Yeah, in
you're
between.
Just sort of recovering. Yeah,
and then you have used 2 months.
I think you're right.
Already.
I think we had a couple years ago. I remember Joe Skipper and Ben Hoffman. These guys were coming from Kona and going to Ironman Florida a couple weeks later and doing really well. So it was like as long as you're not trying to come back and train at a high level in between, you're okay.
Yeah, it can be a good boost sometimes, I feel.
Yeah.
Also remember the first time I did 2 that close with, I think it was 3 weeks apart. I was racing like Cameron Worth in the second one, and I told him that I had just done an Ironman 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, mate, you'll feel amazing."
Yeah, he was doing 8 in a year.
Yeah. I don't know if you should take advice from him, but
yes,
I felt good that day.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because sometimes you do. You see people who, last year was a Danielle Lewis who did Roth, and then 2 weeks later did Placid, and ran faster in Placid than she did in Roth, and did, I think she was, I don't know, 3rd or 5th in both of them. Oh no, she won Placid. Yeah, she came back after 2 weeks after Roth and won Placid. So
it's kind of kickstarts your diesel engine in a weird way. Yeah,
very interesting. And so where do you go from after this race?
Then I'll target the Ironman Frankfurt at the end of June, and that will be like, very high priority race for me.
Yes, you do well in Frankfurt.
Yeah, and I've done it a lot of times, and this year we have, Gustav, Christian Blumenfeld, Kasper Stornes, and Magnus doing it, and maybe Patrick as well. Lange, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of other guys. So and Daniel Bekkegaard, and so it will be a crazy stacked field. But that's
the reason you're there.
Yeah, and it's really motivating, and I know the course well, and I also think the bike course is great. It's a little bit undulating, maybe harder than most people think.
Yeah.
So that will be like, I will try to do a peak in the shape for that one.
Love it. I'm going to let you go so you can go to your press conference.
Thank you.
Kristian Hogenhaug has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Championship. Hold on. We'll be right back.